Breaking news, Viking Nation. The first revelation is about to detonate inside US Bank Stadium, because the storm brewing in Minneapolis isn't just about one player or one injury, it's about an entire franchise standing at the crossroads of destiny while chaos swirls through our locker room like a blizzard that refuses to end. A warrior receiver battles through hand pain that would cripple ordinary mortals, his fingers wrapped but his spirit unbroken. A beloved son's homecoming carries a price tag that has analysts screaming, yet the purple faithful understand some reunions transcend mere dollars. A grizzled linebacker veteran steps from the shadows when catastrophe strikes, ready to spill blood for brothers who can no longer fight. A mountain of a center sits in darkness, his massive frame betrayed by the smallest of injuries that threatens to topple our entire offensive foundation. And through it all, a medical report emerges that reads like a battlefield casualty list. 8 warriors bearing the scars of combat as Sunday Night Football approaches like an unstoppable avalanche. Viking Nation, each of these shocks could redefine our championship dreams. And if you believe in this team more than you hate those cheese-wearing frauds in Green Bay, buckle up, because the first truth is about to shatter everything you thought you knew about our receiving core. But hold on, as shocking as that is, the next update cuts even deeper. The medical miracles continue to unfold in ways that defy every prediction, because Jalen Nailor has completed every single practice repetition with hands that should be screaming in agony, his fingers wrapped in protective gear that transforms him into a warrior gladiator ready to catch fire from the sky. Nailor, whose speed burns through defensive secondaries like lightning through storm clouds, suffered a hand injury during our legendary comeback against Chicago that had medical staff fearing the worst. Visions of broken bones and torn ligaments dancing through their minds as they examine digits that must function with surgical precision to haul in passes from our rookie quarterback. But this isn't just any receiver we're talking about, Viking Nation. This is the deep threat who stretches defenses to their breaking points. The burner whose mere presence on the field forces opposing coordinators to dedicate extra coverage that opens opportunities for Justin Jefferson and our entire passing attack. The hand injury could have been catastrophic, the kind of trauma that turns sure-handed receivers into liability cases who hear footsteps and fear contact. Yet Nailor approached Wednesday's practice with the confidence of a warrior who refuses to yield to pain that would sideline lesser men. Medical staff watched in amazement as he ran routes with full intensity, his hands secured in protective wrapping that looks like medieval armor designed for modern gladiators. Every catch he made during practice sending shockwaves through coaches who desperately needed speed against Atlanta's secondary. The timing couldn't be more perfect, with the Falcons preparing defensive schemes designed to contain Jefferson while potentially leaving Nailor in single coverage that could become explosive plays if his hands can grip the football with their usual reliability. Nailor's determination becomes legendary among teammates who witness his refusal to let injury dictate his availability, his work ethic inspiring younger players who watch him push through adversity that would break ordinary mortals. This isn't just about one receiver's recovery, it's about the depth of character that separates championship teams from pretenders, the kind of warrior mentality that transforms injured players into unstoppable forces of nature. Can Nailor's protected hands maintain their catching ability under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football? Or will the first hard hit reveal that his injury remains more serious than anyone wants to admit? What would you rather see? Nailor risk further damage for one crucial game, or watch backup receivers try to provide the deep threat that keeps our offensive coordinator's playbook fully operational? Viking Nation, if you believe our speed demon can overcome any obstacle through pure determination and Viking pride, smash that like button and prove that real fans never doubt their warriors when they declare themselves ready for battle. And just when fans thought it couldn't get crazier, here comes the next bombshell. Stay with me, because what comes next will flip the script in ways nobody predicted. The reunion story that has divided our fan base like a civil war finally receives its economic verdict. And Adam Thielen's return to Minnesota is being called expensive, but absolutely essential by analysts who understand that some investments transcend spreadsheets and salary cap calculations. The price we paid to bring our prodigal son home from Carolina has accountants screaming about draft picks that could have been future stars, compensation packages that some consider steep for a 34-year-old receiver whose legs may have lost a step. Yet football experts recognize something deeper than mere statistics in this calculated gamble. Thielen's homecoming represents more than roster construction. It's about bringing back a player whose very soul contains the essence of Minnesota football, whose understanding of this franchise's culture runs deeper than any coaching manual could teach to newcomers still learning what it means to bleed purple and gold. The financial. Critics point to declining speed metrics, age-related concerns, and opportunity costs that could haunt us for years, but they miss the intangible benefits that veteran presence brings to a locker room, suddenly relying on rookie leadership and youthful enthusiasm. Thielen's return creates ripple effects that extend beyond the receiving corps, his knowledge of this organization becoming invaluable to younger players who need mentorship from someone who understands the weight of wearing this. Uniform, the pressure of performing in this market, the expectations that come with representing the most passionate fan base in professional sports. The reunion carries emotional significance that money cannot measure, bringing back memories of miraculous catches in crucial moments, game-winning touchdowns that sent crowds into frenzied celebrations, clutch performances when the frozen winds of winter turned footballs into frozen missiles that only the most reliable hands could secure. Analytics. Departments question whether nostalgic emotions clouded our judgment when cold logic should have prevailed. Whether we mortgage too much future potential for a player whose prime years may have already passed like autumn leaves falling from dying trees. But Viking Nation understands what the numbers never capture. Thielen's presence in crucial moments becomes worth more than any draft selection. His ability to find soft spots in zone coverage invaluable when games hang in the balance. His small-town Minnesota values perfectly embodying everything this proud franchise represents to communities across the frozen tundra. The price tag may seem excessive to outsiders who measure value only in dollars and cents, but champions understand that some acquisitions transcend financial considerations and enter the realm of spiritual necessity. Can Thielen's veteran savvy create the kind of receiving depth that torments opposing coordinators who must account for Jefferson, Naylor, and now a crafty veteran who knows every trick in the route running manual? What matters more, preserving future draft capital or adding proven experience to a championship window that may never open this wide again? The answer reveals whether you understand that some players become living symbols of franchise identity. Warriors whose return home carries significance that extends far beyond football fields and into the hearts of communities that bleed purple. If you believe Thielen's homecoming represents destiny rather than desperation, hit that subscribe button and show the world that Viking Nation values loyalty, experience, and the kind of magical reunions that Hollywood screenwriters only dream of creating. But trust me, the story only gets darker from here. The next twist will leave you speechless. And if you think that was wild, the second story might just redefine everything you thought you knew. When Blake Cashman's hamstring betrayed him like a broken promise, when his body crumbled under the weight of NFL brutality and left a gaping void in our linebacker core, the football gods whispered the name Eric Wilson. And suddenly a veteran warrior found himself thrust from the shadows into a starring role that could define not just his season, but his entire legacy within this storied organization. Wilson, the 30-year-old linebacker whose journey through Cincinnati and Philadelphia reads like an epic tale of perseverance, now stands ready to anchor our defense when it needs him most. His 7 years of NFL experience becoming the foundation upon which our defensive coordinator must rebuild schemes that relied heavily on Cashman's unique skill set. This isn't just a simple substitution of one player for another. This represents the ultimate test of team depth. The moment when organizations discover whether their roster construction can withstand the inevitable injuries that plague every championship pursuit like curses from angry gods. Wilson brings more than just experience to this elevated role. He carries the wisdom of a player who has survived roster cuts, fought through position battles, and earned his place through pure determination rather than draft position or media hype. His sudden elevation sends ripples through our entire defensive structure, forcing coordinators to adjust coverage responsibilities, modify blitz packages, and trust Wilson's veteran instincts to communicate with younger players who suddenly look to him for leadership they never expected to need. The timing creates both opportunity and pressure, with Sunday Night Football looming like a judgment day that will reveal whether Wilson can seamlessly fill the void left by Cashman's devastating injury. Wilson's preparation becomes the stuff of locker room legend as teammates witness his obsessive study of Atlanta's offensive tendencies, his understanding of Kirk Cousins' preferences, his ability to diagnose plays before they develop based on formation alignments that younger players might miss. This promotion represents more than tactical adjustments. It's about the unbreakable bonds that hold championship teams together when adversity strikes without warning, the kind of next man up mentality that separates contenders from pretenders in the brutal arithmetic of NFL success. Wilson's reliability becomes crucial in a defense that already faces uncertainty at multiple positions, his steady presence providing the kind of leadership that keeps units cohesive when chaos threatens to tear them apart. The veteran linebacker understands that this opportunity may be his last chance to prove he belongs among the elite players at his position, that Sunday Night Football could become the stage where his career reaches its defining moment. Can Wilson's experience and determination compensate for whatever physical advantages Cashman might have possessed? Or will his sudden elevation expose weaknesses that opposing offenses can exploit like predators sensing wounded prey? What defines a true warrior? Having perfect physical tools or possessing the heart to step up when brothers fall in battle? Viking Nation, if you believe Wilson embodies the kind of selfless courage that makes teams into champions, smash that like button and show everyone that we stand behind every player who bleeds purple, regardless of how they arrived at this moment. And listen, the next chapter? It's the kind of news that divides a fan base right down the middle, but the night isn't over, because the next headline is pure shock, and it's heading straight for us. In the brutal arithmetic of NFL roster construction, sometimes the smallest injuries create the largest problems. And Ryan Kelly's absence from Wednesday's practice due to a toe injury has sent shockwaves through a coaching staff that understands how crucial the center position becomes when everything else falls apart. Kelly, the anchor of our offensive line, whose massive frame and technical precision provide the foundation upon which our entire running game and pass protection schemes depend, sits in darkness while his toe screams with pain that medical staff cannot simply ignore or wish away. This isn't just any toe injury we're talking about, Viking Nation. This is the kind of seemingly minor ailment that can destroy an entire offensive line's chemistry, because the center must fire off the ball with explosive power, must pivot and slide with perfect timing, must anchor against nose tackles who weigh 350 pounds and move with surprising quickness. Kelly's absence from practice creates a domino effect that ripples through every offensive installation, forcing backup centers to assume responsibilities that may not be ready to handle, disrupting timing that requires thousands of repetitions to perfect, threatening the protection schemes that keep our rookie quarterback upright and confident. The toe may seem like a trivial body part to fans who have never experienced the torque and pressure that centers must generate with every snap, but medical experts understand that this small digit must function flawlessly to provide the push-off power that determines whether offensive lines dominate or get destroyed. Kelly's injury comes at the worst possible time, with Atlanta's defensive front preparing to invade our sacred ground on Sunday Night Football, their pass rushers licking their lips at the possibility of facing a compromised center who might telegraph snap counts or struggle with mobility that normally comes naturally. The medical staff faces an impossible calculation. How much pain can a 300-pound man endure while performing athletic movements that require perfect balance and explosive power? Kelly himself becomes a medical mystery as trainers attempt treatments that range from pain management to protective padding, their goal being to return him to practice before Sunday's crucial showdown. This injury represents more than individual discomfort. It symbolizes the fragile nature of championship dreams that can be derailed by ailments so minor that most people would consider them nuisances rather than serious medical concerns. The offensive line coach watches nervously as backup centers attempt to replicate Kelly's technique and leadership, knowing that even subtle differences in snap timing or blocking angles can result in sacks that crush drives and destroy momentum. Can Kelly's warrior spirit overcome toe pain that would sideline ordinary mortals? Or will this seemingly minor injury become the weakness that Atlanta's pass rush exploits for a nationally televised embarrassment? What separates champions from pretenders, playing through pain that doctors advise against, or having the wisdom to rest when rest might prevent catastrophic setbacks? The answer lies in understanding that football exists in the space between courage and foolishness, where warriors must choose between immediate glory and long-term survival. If you believe Kelly's toughness will triumph over any obstacle his body throws at him, hit that subscribe button and prove that Viking Nation never questions the heart of our offensive line warriors. Because if you thought this was the peak of chaos, the real avalanche is just starting. And listen closely, the next 72 hours might be the most decisive in this franchise's history. Because the injury report that emerged from Wednesday's practice reads like a battlefield casualty list that would make military commanders weep. 8 warriors bearing the scars of combat as our medical staff transforms into field surgeons trying to patch together enough healthy bodies for Sunday Night Football. This isn't just a routine injury report that teams file with the league office. This is a document that reveals the true cost of NFL warfare, the price that warriors pay when they throw their bodies into collisions that would hospitalize ordinary mortals. Blake Cashman's hamstring injury leads the parade of wounded, his absence creating a leadership void that ripples through our entire defensive structure like cracks spreading through ice. Andrew Van Ginkel and Jeff Okudah remain trapped in the concussion protocol, their brilliant minds held hostage by invisible injuries that medical science still struggles to fully understand. Christian Darrisaw battles knee pain that would cripple lesser men, yet continues practicing with the determination of a Viking berserker who refuses to yield to physical limitations. Ryan Kelly's toe injury may seem minor to outsiders, but centers understand that this small digit must function perfectly to anchor an offensive line that protects our rookie quarterback's blind side. Josh Oliver's ankle injury adds another layer of complexity to offensive